Hi everyone, welcome to week one. I wanted to take the next few minutes and go through all of the resources and what is expected for this week. I'm going to share my screen. Oh. All right, so from the home page, we're going to just look at the overview and resources for week one. So the overview for the week is all about examining how technology has changed and accelerated global interdependence. The four objectives are to understand the importance of communication technology in connecting the world, look at how globalization affects population growth, migration, and the exchange of ideas, the exponential growth of the world population and its strain on the world resources, and the growth of communication technologies over time. So your to-do list, in order to achieve those four goals, is you're going to read these articles slash book chapters. And when I say chapters, they're really not that long. Since we don't actually have a book, I'm using the book Boundless Management from Lumen Learning. So here's just kind of what that looks like. This first chapter is all about actually defining globalization, because that's kind of what this course is built around. We live in a globalized world. And if you don't understand what globalization means, then you're not going to do well. So we need to first understand what globalization is. So this chapter just defines it. The first section defines it. The second section looks at the benefits of it. And then the last section looks at complications of it. It's got some key takeaways. Make sure you look at those key points in all of them. All right. And the maps are also pretty cool. So then in the next one, it's just the next chapter. And what that one is it's talking about the historical developments in the global economy. So how did we get here? What were the major historical developments that brought about globalization? And a lot of the rest of the resources deal with the history of it and the main inventions that brought us to where we are today. So this one's not too long. ThoughtCo, whoops, there we go. Again, here's the early history of communication and what the communication did. It's very brief, but it starts back in the BC years and comes all the way to someone trying to call you and how we got the answering machine. Obviously, we've come a lot further than that since that time, but still a great background of what communication did for globalization. These next two are all about time zones, and I want you to think about what did the creation of time zones do for globalization as you read through these. Again, fairly short. Greenwich time. So this is just the history of time zones and how we got to 4. The last one was how time zones developed in the United States. Again, very short, just a quick blip, 1 page for you to read. This next one is all about how internet and globalization has occurred. So this one's a little bit longer. So what I want you to look at, it's a fairly old article, but it's still good for you to read. The main takeaways I want you to look at are these bold terms, so the definitions of those, and then what's in text box and the graphs. So what's happening or what was happening with China back in 2010 and how could the internet have been affected this way. We've also got a few graphs down here looking at news sources, but the key takeaways are also down at the bottom, and that's what I want you to look at. So that way you don't have to read the whole thing, but at least get these 3 key takeaways and those bold words. And then this last one is another historical thing that looks at the telephone and the multiple telegraph. Again, not too long. So these readings are all kind of dealing with where we came from and how did we get to the point that globalization's at right now. Along with that, what I want you to start thinking about is where we're going. In your project for the week, your goal is to not present, sorry, I need to get rid of that. It should be that 1-page report predicting future technologies in your industry. And in order to do that, I want you to watch this CBS News video. It's about 10 minutes long. And I also understand that you are all students and you have other parts and other things going on in your life. So let's see if this one has it, if we play it.
As always, we thank you.
Something to realize is, oh, this one doesn't have it. Closed captions are there. Some videos that I do give you will have a double time feature. There's also the potential that you could find this somewhere else and actually double time it, but it's 10 minutes, a 10-minute video. What I want you to pick up out of this video is that Reed Hastings knew where he wanted Netflix to go before the technology even existed. So those are the types of things that I want you to be thinking about as you're doing your one-page report. Something else to know about Netflix too is Netflix just went global. So that's something to keep in mind. And he was thinking about those types of things 10 years ago. The last thing, you also need to post your intro video, of course, and get your discussion question done, and we'll go through that in a minute. But trendhunter.com will help you with your one-page report. So the big part about this is there's always new ideas coming, okay? Here are the top 20. So if we go to full article, what's the future hold? Let's see. Here we go. Hotels, plaid to neon fanny packs. Nostalgia is apparently back. So these are very interesting pictures with hotels. But just look at some of the trends that are going on here. And hopefully you'll see that, not all of the best ideas are taken. Look at the business ones. AI-powered corporate gifting services. That's kind of cool. You can look at streaming-focused cooperative reorganizations, all of that stuff. What's Disney's new strategic organization? Click on the full article and it should take you there. Again, they're not very long for you to look at. They've got some statistics, but look at your industry specific. Try and look at that, or look at the econ, waste reducing hygiene kits, work-friendly transportation pods, all of those things. That's just nuts when you think about it. A wind-powered alien planet bicycle. Like, where are we going? Would any of these benefit you specifically? So look at some of those trends that are happening. Here's another couple of articles that deal with future things. This is from September of last year. How do you think people will communicate in the future? We've already seen communication change so much in my lifetime, the last 30 years, from the phone and mail to email to texting to video chatting, all of that stuff. So how do you think we will communicate in the future? Again, not very long. And then this one just gives future communication tags. You can look through all of the what does the future hold? Why are people flying balloons into North Korea? And some other things that go along with that. And then the last one is census.gov. This one can help you look at how has a specific country's demographics changed over the years. So if you know that your company works with, let's just pick Canada because it's close. Select up to 25 years. So let's just look at the last 23. We can see individual and aggregated data. And let's just do the UN regions. And it's just kind of cool to see what's the mid-year population and how it's changed over the last 20 years. So look at all of these stats, look at fertility rates. Specifically, I want you to kind of see what happens. Why do you think fertility rates dropped a little bit here? And then they dropped a little bit in 2017 again. Their prediction for 2025. Life expectancy has gone up in Canada. So just look at some of those things and think about how does the population of a country and population growth affect the economic resources that are going to be used, and specifically look in your industry. What type of natural resources or even non-renewable resources is your company using, and how will that affect what the trends are for the future? Does your company work with a third world country that's going to start to need more support from a first world country? Just keep those types of things in mind. So then we go back, and just specifically I want to look at your other 2 assignments. So we've got your intro video. That's going to be on Flipgrid, due by Thursday night at midnight. Just record a response and then respond to somebody else on here. Your question for the week, your discussion question, is how has technology accelerated global interdependence? So you should be able to answer that question after you go through all of the resources. Again, you need to have your response done by Thursday night at midnight. And then anybody who comments on yours, you need to have done by Friday night at midnight. Or sorry, I would ask that you get your comments to your classmates by Friday night at midnight, but you have until Sunday night at midnight to respond to students. So I'm going to fix this a little bit and put that you need to comment on at least 2 classmates by Friday night, so that over the weekend you can respond to them. And I will get a rubric posted for this as well shortly. And then again, here is your applied assignment. Your company's got a strategic planning meeting coming up. You've been put in charge of creating a 1-page report with clear, concise information on innovations and trends in the industry. So what your job is to use the resources and answer these questions. What would a forward-thinking trend hunter be planning for? What current innovations should you be aware of, and how will those trends and innovations change your industry? Specifically, I don't think a year ago anybody saw COVID coming, and it has completely changed how people communicate. So going forward, what should you be preparing for? And then if you need questions on how to submit it, go ahead and click here and then submit your assignment. So that's kind of a very quick overview. I might have gone into a little more detail than I will go into in the future, but for this first week, I wanted to do that. And also, this video is on YouTube, so you can double time it. If you can understand faster, go ahead and do that. So that way, you're getting what you need in the time that you need it. Something also that I want to share with you is, as I'm also in school in a doctoral program right now, I'm also going back to school. Use the accessibility capabilities of your computer and your iPad, or even your phone. If you're finding that, you're going for a run and you want to listen to something, use accessibility to have your phone or your iPad or whatever you're working on read something to you. So that way you're kind of multitasking. It's just a way that I use, and I find that's very helpful with managing my time. So I hope that you all got something out of this. Please send me questions if you have any, if you're not sure about anything at all. And I look forward to talking with you later this week via questions, email. We can always set up a video chat if you need it. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing your final results and looking at your discussions.